Good morning, everyone. Good morning, hun. We have just pulled into port here at Greenock. At least I think that's how it's pronounced. I mean, if they pronounce Greenwich as Greenwich, I'm assuming Greenock is... Daniel's pointed out the cathedral spire over here behind us, but we're not even going to go into this port city. We're headed down to Glasgow, a little bit further in on the Clyde River. And honestly, I don't know what to expect. I have my presuppositions about Glasgow and probably shouldn't go into them here. I kind of hope to be pleasantly surprised, but we'll see what it's like. In the meantime, keep an eye on us and wish us luck. We're gonna need it. Well, no bagpipers today, but, well, and I don't remember much of this place when we were here, but then again, that was over 20 years ago. So, and we're not staying here. We're just getting on a bus, getting on into the city. Heck, even the itinerary doesn't really describe Greenock too much, just Glasgow. So, we'll see what it looks like. I'll be honest, it would have more meaning here if we had family history, like the Carrolls do in Edinburgh. But we've got nothing planned. We're not cathedral or museum types, so we're just wandering about now that we've been dropped off. At least we're free to go wherever we want to. They do have one of those hop-on, hop-off buses that go around the city. We might just try that to give us an indication of where to go. It certainly worked for me in Sydney, so we'll see what happens. We've been dropped off at St. George Square, which is basically the hub of the town. But oddly enough, the square is covered by construction. Well, at least they're building up, I suppose. But for the time being, we're at a loose thread as to what to do. The red and yellow lines for the hop-on, hop-off bus are right here. But for the moment, I'm not ready to get back on the bus for anything. So we're just gonna wander around for a bit yet. Since we don't have much of a plan at the moment, I thought we might just walk around St. George Square just to look around before hopping on the bus. And again, it's a little disappointing to see that the square is kind of cordoned off and you can hear the construction in the background. But, I mean, as long as the place is building up, I guess that's a good sign. It may be a nuisance and it may be unsightly, but when your national bird is the crane, the construction crane, I mean, that's usually a good sign that you're building things up rather than just stagnating. So, yeah. Well, it turns out you can't go all the way around St. George's Square because you can't turn here. Oh well. So we'll go on to the next block, and once we get back, we'll turn around and hopefully pick up the hop-on, hop-off bus from there. We're not even the remotest bit hungry, but when we pass by restaurants, sometimes we see stuff like this. If we wanted Detroit pizza, we could get something like this at home. But apparently that's considered exotic over on this side of the pond, and so there you are. So many little things to comment on. We've just gone one block past St. George's Square, and I thought this was the entrance to a building, but it looks like it's an actual passageway, kind of like a shopping district. So we'll head this way and take the bus. Although first I have to comment on this statue on this side of the hallway, which somebody has decided to put stickers on in the most inappropriate of places. I mean, there's that whole prank of putting "kick me" signs on somebody's backside, but really, dudes? As it turns out, it's not much in the way of a shopping district here, but it's definitely a pedestrian walkway based on those bollards behind me. So we'll just keep going this way and double back. Hopefully we can pick up the bus and... Okay, so we're back here and we can hop on the buses and see our way around. Whether we decide to get off at one spot or another remains to be seen. As I've said, we've decided to hop on the sightseeing bus, but for whatever reason, Daniel was saying that he's not even going to bother with the headphones, so we're not going to get a lot of context as we go about the place. But at least we can hop on, hop off where we feel like going. Thing is, we have no idea what's here, so without context, it's kind of like, where do we want to get off? What's of any interest? No idea, no clue. Well, we're at the Glasgow Cathedral. This is our first stop. Not getting off here, but at least we know. I'm just going off of the map more than anything else. Daniel, you just mentioned the tile building. Oh dear, can't get us both in the shot. We don't see buildings with this kind of facade. We're at our fourth stop now, the Barras Market, which I've been told by one of our fellow passengers is a weekend market. This being Monday, there's no point in getting off here. And it's, things are fairly empty here at the moment. So, yeah. Likewise, the People's Palace at Glasgow Green. A lovely place, and the park behind me is a great place to go running, Aaron. But since we don't have time for that sort of thing, and the palace isn't going to be open until 2027. I think they're working on renovations, so. But there are plenty other stops yet to go, so. I'll say this is a really quiet ride, to be fair. Most of our passengers are probably listening in on their headsets, which we've decided against for reasons. But I think the bus is also electric, so there's no motor or anything like that. The most you'll probably hear in this is the wind as we go by. And even then, we're not going very fast, so it's quite an interesting experience compared to a lot of tour buses I've been on. Well, that was a wee bit confusing, as they say here, I guess. From the top, we could see next stop St. Enoch's, but people were getting on and off, so we're presumably at that sixth stop. And, well, we got the bollards behind us, so we're on a pedestrian walkway, and this seems to go for quite some distance. So, I think we're there. St. Enoch's, as shopping districts go, is very different from the ones we've encountered in Japan. For one, it's a very broad street, and for another, it's open air, which is kind of odd if you think about it. It rains just as much here, and it's cloudier and cooler. But it's a choice. You can decide whether it's good or bad. They've got a lot of high-end shops with names, oddly enough, that I don't recognize as much. I used to complain about how many of the malls over in Asia were names that we were familiar with and that were, again, very high-end, very chic names that didn't appeal to me. I'm not taking the time to notice these. We're just walking through. Then again, I may be wrong about St. Enoch's. It's not the shopping district we've just walked through, but this interior building. So we may just check that out.
The heart of Glasgow, it calls itself.
It would seem that, although it's early and not much is going on around here, most of the places here are occupied, which puts this at a level beyond most of the malls back at home. Still, up here is Restaurant Row on the second floor, and we're here at like 10:30, so there's not much going on just yet. And we can't really stay that long, as we're needed to be at the bus stop at 1:45. We'll probably catch lunch at some point. Where and what, I have no idea. But probably not here at St. Enoch's. So after wandering through the food court and the other shops and even getting something of a souvenir, we find ourselves on the third level, which is more like an arcade here. We spotted something that you would have found amusing, a virtual Rabbids game. But yeah, it's kind of daunting as to know do you even want to mess with this or not. I mean, everything's in English, which is more than I can say for the arcades over in Japan, but still. I think we're starting to find our way around. It doesn't hurt that the map here has indications for these subway locations. And since we just came out of St. Enoch's, we know where the subway is on the map. So we can head to the location number 7 on the red bus and go from there. Well, after a little bit of getting lost and wandering about, we were about to cross the bridges on the river, but there's no bus routes over there. So we found our way to Grand Central Station, or is it just Central Station, which is our next bus pickup. We missed St. Vincent, but we've been through the area well enough, I think, that we'll be okay. Also, then there's the next stop, Glasgow Marriott. That's a stop on the tour bus? Okay. I mean, I guess tourists need to stop at their hotels, so that's fine. I will say that judging from the broken windows and graffiti theory of government, this isn't the best section of Glasgow, or at least the area we just left. Down here, not so much, but still, there's a lot of graffiti around here, which would suggest a less than savory area. But in broad daylight, or what approximates it here in Glasgow, they're probably safe as houses. We've gotten back on the bus, but since it's been raining, the upper deck is a little bit wet, so we're in here, and now we have context for where we're going. So maybe I'm just gonna film and let him do the talking. And just as we get off the bus, it starts raining again. Darn it. Okay. Well, that was quite the adventure, and you know, I didn't do any talking because I've got to let the bus driver, who knows his way around, tell us the story. Got a few more jokes out of it than I could have ever come up with, even though you're just getting the side or the back of the guy's head. So I will try to edit that out to a little bit more manageable amount of time, but no promises.